Hello everyone, it is Chief Kale. Here to kind of show you some things. For the new beginners, again, I'm the Chief of Police. As you probably have met me throughout the course of your starting of your career, as well as also Commissioner. But we just wanted to go over some things, that way you guys know things before you even step, in foot of our police departments and or LEO in general. This video is going to be more ordained towards the MDT, as that can be complex if you don't really know what it does. But our MDT is pretty simple when it comes to other words once you kind of get it down for a little bit. So normally, what you'll see, we're going to close, right? Type into your MDT. You're going to go on duty. You're going to set your call sign. So when you're first starting, you're not going to have anything here. For my circumstance, I am Kilo 1. Any police officer is going to be Kilo. You will have your call sign once you get in a meeting with me, as I am assured it's the same thing for sheriffs and state as well. So you'll have pretty much the same circumstances. You'll know what to put in. But again, mine is Kilo 1. So say, again, this is going to be blank. All you do is write K1, and you go on duty. And now you're set to availability, available in the MDT in the CAD system. However, say you get on a scene, say you're doing something like I'm doing right now, where I'm technically on duty, but I'm doing some other stuff. You can go into the actions menu, and it'll set up all of these. So you can say you're on call, in transport, panic, available, busy, whatever. I'm going to suggest busy right now just because I'm doing other things. You would then, of course, go through your 10 codes, which there'll be another video based on that. And then you will tell, your dispatch or other units around that you are busy at this moment in time, which is 10-5. All right. Now dashboard is kind of figured out. The only real other thing to talk about on dashboards is pretty much just the warrant section. This isn't where you place warrants or anything, but this is where you can look at stuff. Of course, we have vehicles of interest, so that's where you can kind of see that. Of course, those things will change. But like I said, that's pretty much that for dashboard. You can kind of see who's here, what units we have in, whatever. You can see who's in EMS and Fiverr, and also roadside assistance, which is towing. Next section, bolos. Bolos are going to be kind of how you go ahead and throw out any information that needs to be seen by other police, by other members of LEO, and that people that have done something to cause a peak of interest. Especially in the circumstance right here, we have one. A Lamborghini was seen on Norfolk Drive. He was pulling over, and then took off when he was asked about a license. That detail is what's needed when adding any vehicle of interest or people of interest, stuff like that. Again, same situation here. As far as people of interest, vehicle interest. So that's kind of where we add it. Again, this is how you kind of add it. This is a vehicle model. You will need the model, the plate, color, and where it was last seen, along with a description of the vehicle, details, stuff like that. Reason of why we're doing, what we're having to do, putting on interest, and any notes based on that, car, or based on the driver driving the car. All right. So that's done. Person of interest, kind of the same situation. Uses a civilian search, so you just got to get the name. Once you have the name, you can do all the rest of the stuff, description, last seen, reasons, and notes. Kind of the same thing as a car, just it's more towards a person. Again, that's pretty much self-explanatory for the bolos. If you need one, you can put one out. Warrants are very different. They're not different in how you set them up. They're the same thing. It's more like a person of interest type of thing. It's the same thing as a warrant. A warrant is for an individual. However, with warrants, you will need a higher up, pretty much an okay from a higher up to go ahead with warrants. Warrants aren't fully in the city as the time of recording this, because the DOJ isn't set up, but that will be set up, and that will be a thing of need. You will need to be able to put warrants out, stuff like that. So again, this is pretty self-explanatory. Once again, name, last seen, description, reason of interest, and some notes on it. Again, if there's any things that you need to add to certain things, you can always add the notes. But again, that's just warrants. Again, you will need a supervisor to write off on a warrant. Otherwise, we will delete them, and they will not be in effect. All right. It's on to the fun stuff. Database. This is how we do everything here. I don't have a car in front of me, but when you do have a car, you put in the license plates, hit search. That is how you're going to find up a vehicle plate or anything like that. Civilian search, I will just use myself for this demonstration. You type in a first name. Normally you can do both, but if you have just a first name, you can try it, as you will get me to pop up. And then there you go. All my stuff. Priors or records, unpaid fines, stuff like that. All right. Oh. Don't do that. So, all right. So once again, we're on a quick search. Again, that's how you search civilians. It's also how you search cars. It's also how you make reports. When you create a report, you need to know what it is. If it's an incident report, fines, interactions, license, other tickets, stuff like that, that needs to be under incident reports. Again, that is pretty self-explanatory. Tells you what to do on each thing. I'm going to go through a little bit of the options. That way you're not, seeing it for the first time. When you select incident results, a lot of them are going to be fined. A lot of them. If you're being nice to a person, written warning still needs to be written. If there's some other stuff, you can put that there, but very rarely will you use other and non-applicable. Same thing for the subject name. Once again, you're looking at the CAD system to look them up. Law enforcement involved. Whenever you see this is the list of every law enforcement officer we have. Again, not that big, but we're just starting. This is at a day of recording. But again, you will see all the officers here. Some may not be in commission anymore. Some will. You just kind of have to make sure you know who you're working with. Detailed report. Make sure you put details in everything. To kind of give you an example of a detailed report, I would sit there and look at my reports. Look at this one for key examples. This was against Dane Whitetail. Place of arrest, red line, as well as also a brief description of what he was arrested for. Every law enforcement that was a part of it, and the individuals, you just need to make it a list of each thing. Like this, black lightning, stolen cards, vehicles, there was non-applicable, and then charges were on there as well. We'll go through an arrest report, but that is kind of how arrest report is, but it's also how an incident report should be as well. Detailed, fine print, stuff like that. Now, let's see if I can actually do this, or if it's going to automatically make a arrest report. Oh, okay. So, arrest report, kind of the same thing. Need to make sure it's detailed and filled out. The only times that it's different is now charges. So, say you get a misdemeanor or assault with a deadly weapon, since it's a felony. Say you get that, you would select it. It's going to say counts. You're only going to want one. Go ahead and close that, and that charge will then be there. It tells you how much the fine is. I normally set it to 7 days, gives you a week to pay it. You can also do, 14 days, whatever. Go by weeks period is what I normally do. If you are going to give them a reduction, of course, you can look at this, as there are 0 reductions, stuff like that. Jail time is where it kind of gets a little bit different. We have 2 different ways of jailing people. Another one will get told another time. However, this one, you're going to want that checkbox clicked. You're going to want to, set if there's any reductions. Again, if you're jailing them and it takes you a bit, give them a little bit of a reduction, take a couple months off. And then, go ahead and fill out the rest of the report. The reason why you're jailing them, again, another detail report. You're going to need to detail everything that we do here. That way you're able to be covering your butt. But as far as it goes for the rest of this stuff, view reports, that's kind of going to be like a homework thing. If you want to kind of see reports that are made by other cops, you'll be able to do so. But you really won't use that much. It's more or less the creator reports that you're going to need, as I've gone through in both ways, so you can use a report. Activity is pretty much just seeing, what cops have done. This is mainly used for any supervisors, any LSPD supervisors. I will have videos going on the lines of, what is needed to be in those positions and how you need to do those positions effectively. But this is kind of where you see that type of stuff. Again, this is mainly for supervisors. They're going to be looking at that type of stuff. But if you want to track yourself, you definitely can. But as far as that goes, you can turn down a little bit, but that's pretty much just the volume type of things. You can put that on there, and you can set what kind of things. You can also set a keybind to what configuration you want to be able to press that, and the MDT2 pop up. Mine is the comma key, but that's kind of how you do that. But with that being said, I think that is gonna be it for this little tutorial of the MDT. It was a little 10-minute. Hopefully it wasn't too crazy or sporadic, but again, just to reiterate everything one last time, dashboard's kind of where you see everything. You can go ahead and edit your patrol statuses in here and be able to see that type of stuff. You can set waypoints to other people. You can go through that, try to find other, situations that are working out. Vehicle of interest, people of interest, warrants. Again, this is just how you see shit. How you see stuff. Let's not swear. This is how you see stuff, so that's how you're able to, go through and look. Bolos, be on the lookout for vehicles or a person. Again, make sure to fill out, detail it, make sure it's all good. Warrants, same situation, but again, remember it has to be okayed by a supervisor. Warrants will not just be flung out in the middle of nowhere, because those have more weight to them. Database is where our main HUD is for everything we're doing, whether or not you're searching a person or a plate, or you're going ahead and making a report of an incident or an arrest. Again, view reports and activities, kind of where you see kind of what we have done or what other fellow officers have done, more or less used for higher ups, and all this stuff is kind of just your settings. You can do all the same things you can do pretty much on the dashboard with this. It's the same thing: go off duty, change patrol status, go through all that. There's also a log out button if you're ever in a stuck problem. But with that being said, I think that's MDT all figured out and taken care of. If you guys have any questions, of course, go to your ranks. I don't know if this is going to be used for everyone, but I think it is. So, again, just go through your ranks, go through your lieutenants, your sergeants, whatever the rank system is. Try to find help and then get help wherever you need. You can always ask me, but I may not be around, and you may not be in my department. So you can't always ask me due to, regulations and stuff like that. But I'm always willing to help. But with that being said, I think that's going to do it. We'll see you on the next training video.